Hey everybody, come along for a morning flight with me where things didn't go quite so well. It was a beautiful morning. I got Chris, my buddy, out for a flight. He's going to get in the air. We're getting out at the crack of dawn. It's around 6 o'clock, 30 minutes before sunrise. And, it was one of those mornings where I had to go to work that day, a weekday, but the weather was just great. I wanted to get out, so here I'm going to get set up, lay my wing out in the road. There was lots of dew on the ground. Yeah, you gather I'm making a lot of excuses here. The day didn't start too well even. As you saw from the opening scene, it didn't end real well for my equipment. But the starting, I blew 2 launches. I haven't blown many launches lately. I like to think I'm around 200-hour pilot, and I've been really successful. But you can see this one, there was a little bit of a crosswind, really light. And my excuse is that I wanted to lay out in the road, stay out of the dew. Of course, you got to deal with cars that might come by. We're in an area that the road's not very well traveled that time of morning, but wave this guy by. But the first one I laid out, I didn't put any air over the wing, didn't throttle up before I took off. I just thought overconfident, I guess. Wasn't thinking about the slight crosswind. And then on the second one, I did put air over the wing, got it into the air better, but I still didn't plan for the crosswind. I should have stepped left a little bit, made sure the left side of the wing came up first to handle the crosswind. I didn't do it, so third time's a charm. I decided, well, I'm going to go into the wind, which meant I'm going to hop the curb and run through some of the wet grass. Put lots of air over it. By this time I was tired of messing around, ready to get in the air. And successfully did it finally. Restored a little bit of confidence in my ability to do that. But get in the air and just had a great morning flight. The cage, is very flexible, and I've learned the hard way in the past, if you try to do any kind of power forward and flex that cage back, bad things happen with the prop and the netting. But as you can see, I got up for start of a great day, beautiful flight. We had just awesome conditions. Here's one of the retention ponds in the Houston area, West Houston area. Cruise around. Here's a sand mine. This is an area we cruise around all the time. These guys are fairly used to seeing us, I think. But buzz around anytime you got no minimal rotor situation. Wind's coming over the hills and there's not enough wind to really cause any rotor, so go down and play around in the sand mines down low in there every once in a while. And here I'll just show a few scenes. I know most people are going to be interested in the gas tank and the trouble I had at the end, but I just put in a little fast forward clips, kind of give you a flavor of what my flight was like for most of the morning, going visiting some construction crews and just having a good old time. But so I guess I'll tell you about the exhaust. As you'll see here in a bit, this was the second exhaust. I've got a Vitarazi Moster 185 Plus, and at the time of this video, this flight, the engine has about 170 hours on it. Well, that's not quite right. I'll have to figure out how many hours that was. But the second exhaust, the first exhaust cracked, and I got a replacement under warranty. In that process, we switched over to the it's still a 3-spring, but switched over to the 50-hour wear bushing instead of the 25-hour wear bushing. Here I'm coming in to land, and just before I landed, I'd smelled a little bit of gas. I thought that was weird, and the last 5 minutes or so of the flight, I got my music going in my ears, but I was kind of questioning myself. I thought the exhaust sounded a little bit different, and but I gunned it a little bit and listened to the motor. I thought, well, it doesn't sound too much different. I decided not to land out. I'd just go ahead and fly back. I had good thrust. The engine was running good. And so you'll see here what me and my buddy discovered once we landed.
Get more gas and be blowing bubbles.
Oh my goodness, it is straight in there.
Jeez. If you had more gas, it'd be blowing bubbles, man.
God. That is an eye-opener. I knew something sounded different, but it was running fine. And
Did you? The screws backed out. Now they're rivets. Yeah.
the rivets gave way, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. No, the gave way in bearing. Material gave way.
Yeah. The carbon fiber or whatever it is. So the rivets, the carbon fiber gave way, and I've got this extra large tank, and look at that. The exhaust was blowing right into the fuel tank. Went down and melted. Oh my goodness.
So as it turns out, I had a little more damage than just the silencer and it sliding down into the gas tank. I had a little bit of prop damage, and then I got to looking at the bend on the exhaust, and it looks like the heat shield. Some of that had came off. So there's a little more to this story than what I've got in this video. I'll post up another video where I'm taking the exhaust off and replacing it. I've already got another one shipped to me, got my unit back ready to fly again, and give you a little more details of what I think's going on and why we think this happened. So look forward to that, and I hope everybody has a good one. Fly safe.